showing Richard Hoyles.
So they're lining up for the John Smith's Top Novices hurdle. And they're off and racing. 2 miles, half a furlong in front of the field. Moonstreaker is the first one to show ahead of Captive Audience with the white face on the run towards the first of 9 flights of hurdles. Washington Irving settles in third with Dan Breen in 4th place. The pace is generous enough. Menora settled in 5th on the inside of General Miller. And the last 3 early on are Inventor in company with La Sarrazine and Escort Men, who came from well back to win on his debut, is also held up in the early stages as the leader is scruffy over flight number 1, Moonstreaker, but to the other side safely, pressed by Captive Audience with 3 lengths back to Washington Irving as they approach the second flight of hurdles. Dan Breen in the noseband, Menora on the inside from General Miller. Inventor didn't take that too well at the rear of the field. And Escort Men, under restraint, is taking quite a keen hold as the fields string out, as Captive Audience and Moonstreaker pressing on over flight number 3, at which Captive Audience jumped to the lead. So Captive Audience, the horse with the white face in the maroon and white colours, leading the other outsider Moonstreaker at what now is quite a hot pace. The two have taken each other on through the last couple of furlongs. As a result, they've stretched 12 clear from Menora, who's on the inside of Dan Breen. Washington Irving is now in 5th on the outside of General Miller in white and red. Then La Sarrazine in the hoops ahead of Inventor and Escort Men, whose rider Ruby Walsh will be very pleased that they're going quite so quick as they head off into the back, with Captive Audience leading by 1.5 lengths. In second place is Moonstreaker. The pack closing, towed up by Menora, who's now just 3 lengths away in third, as they will quickly meet the first down the back. In 4th place, Dan Breen. Then General Miller. Washington Irving just drifting back through the field as Captive Audience runs down flight number 4. Inventor, La Sarrazine and Escort Men with the last 3 over it. But the field now just beginning to pack up slightly as the pace pauses. Captive Audience now pursued by both Moonstreaker and Menora, who's now as close as he's ever been to the lead in 3rd place, just a couple of lengths off as they race towards flight number 5. And Menora jumped that really well on the inside, flew the flight of hurdles, and has just about carted his way to the front now on the inside of Captive Audience. Then Moonstreaker. In 4th place, General Miller. La Sarrazine's making ground. Dan Breen's always been just tracking the leaders. Then Inventor and Escort Men as the leader Captive Audience again runs down the flight. And for the second time in the race, Inventor made a mistake. So Captive Audience back in front, Menora between flights, the rider content to grab hold and continue to track the leaders, with Moonstreaker still there on the outside. Dan Breen black and white ahead of General Miller. Then behind these we have Washington Irving from La Sarrazine. Escort Men continuing to take this keen hold towards the rear of the field, and Inventor. So they're all bunching up, they're jockeying for positions as Captive Audience leads the turn for home. Menora on the inside of the pushed along Moonstreaker. Dan Breen improves, Washington Irving improves. General Miller looking for some room. Now all of a sudden they're all packing up. Escort Men's beginning to make ground towards the outside of the field from the back in the blue and white quartered colours. So they're making the turn then back towards the third last, and Menora has moved through to dispute it and takes over. Not the best of leaps. General Miller moves into second to cover the move. Then Dan Breen, La Sarrazine, Escort Men amongst horses. Inventor is staying on as well. This is 2 from home. Menora over from General Miller. Dan Breen a mistake. Then Inventor, La Sarrazine. Escort Men did not pick up. That's not the case for Menora, and the Cheltenham winner scuttles 2 lengths clear from General Miller and Inventor, who's running on stoutly. Menora, another good leap at the last, is over from General Miller. A mistake in third by Inventor, then La Sarrazine and Escort Men off up the run in. Menora, General Miller, however, is coming back at the leader, who's beginning to tie up. Menora narrowly, General Miller in full cry for Barry Geraghty. He's going to wrest the prize. General Miller got up to beat Menora. Inventor was home in third. La Sarrazine, Dan Breen, Escort Men and Washington Irving.
Unseated at the first in the Supreme, and now he's unseated the Supreme winner here. General Miller has won. Barry Geraghty now riding for Nicky Henderson on this horse. The parted company with Andrew Tinkler at the very first flight in the Supreme Novices hurdle.